So this chapter number 5 of the first canto is divided in 4 parts. So first part is that Narad Muni inquires from the Vyasadeva the reasons of his despondency, why he is morose, although he has done so many literary work, still, why he is not happy. So that was the question asked by Narad Muni to Vyasadeva. So that is the first part. From verse number 1 to 7, we discuss about the Vyasadeva's despondency. From verse number 8 to verse number 22nd, Narad Muni find out the problem of Vyasadeva. No, when we go to doctor, so when we go to doctor, we have to tell the problem. Oh, I'm feeling like that, like that, like that. So okay, I have done so much work. Sometimes we know eaten curd or maybe some cold thing or buttermilk or kheera like that. Then we immediately understand that I tell the doctor, oh, these are the things I have done. The doctor immediately understand that, I'm allergic to certain food. So, so recently, 2 days ago, doctor never told me don't eat basundi. So I ended up eating basundi in the ashram. The
Hmm.
next immediately I got cold. And as soon as I got cold, I become so weak. Then again, the second level of allergy triggered. Then I started getting itching on the body. So we know what is the problem. So I tell doctor, oh, I did like this thing. But when I eat this thing, I don't feel. So same way, Vyasdev was telling to Narad Muni, oh, I have done great work, literary work. I have made 4 Veda, Puranas, Ityasas, Vedanta Sutra. I have done so much work for the welfare of people, but still I'm feeling unsatisfied. Maybe because of, I have not directly glorified Lord Hari. So that
Hmm.
may be one of the reason.
Hmm.
So that's what Vyasdev. So please mute yourself. Okay. So then that may be the one of the reason. So Vyasdev was telling the Narad Muni. So after hearing the all those things, doctor, find out the real problem, seeing our symptoms and from our narration, or maybe doctor tell us to do blood checkup. So when Narad Muni was Trikaldarshi, he was a Devrishi. So he was aware that what was the problem of Vyasdev. So verse number 8 to 22nd discuss about the Narad Muni diagnose the Vyasdev's problem. Find out what's the problem with the Vyasdev. That is the second part of this particular chapter. So yesterday I forgot to mention this thing. We discussed verse number 1 to 7, but I forgot this part. And third is that diagnosis means Narad Muni gives the solution. So after giving the solution, Narad Muni personally narrates his experience. Oh, I was also, I was born in the Sudra family. I have born from the maid, and how by just by hearing from Bhagavatas, Mahabhagavatas, he anything to Uchishta of the Mahabhagavata, he raised to the platform of Devrishi Narad. Then he's giving his own example. So sometimes people come and ask us to narrate their problems to us. Then we say, "Oh, I have also." Then we give a solution and say, "I also have the same problem, and I did this. So I can I could get rid of from it." So that is how we narrate. So Narad Muni give the his previous life's example. So then finally, by saying that, "Oh, Srinvatam Svatata Krishna." Sartadavad Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin. So after telling all those things, Narad Muni advised to Vyasdev to describe the Lord's glory. So this is how this chapter has been described, uh, divided in different parts. So yesterday we saw from verse number 1 to 7 that how Narad Muni inquired from Vyasdev about his despondency. And today, from verse number 8 onwards, we'll see that So in the verse number 8, Sri Narada Uvacha, so after hearing the problems of Vyasdev, Narad Muni is telling that Bhavata Anujit Prayam Yaso Bhagavato Amalam Yune Vaso Natusyeta Manyeta Darsana Kilam. Narad said, so what is the problem? If you see in the first 7 verses of this chapter, here, so addressing Vyas, the son of Parasan, Narad inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as object of self-realization? Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled. There is no kind of Vedic sequence is elaborately explained. And he says, you have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all those things, thinking that you are undone, my dear Prabhu? And Vasudev says that all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not pacified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction. So from this, we can learn the lesson that whenever, although we say this in the material world, we do so many things materially, but still we don't feel satisfied. If we really want to feel be satisfied, then we have to go beyond this matter, and that is the spiritual platform. Okay. Then he says, for you are, and why he's asking to Narad Muni? Because Narad Muni is a man of unlimited knowledge due to his being offspring of Brahma. Then he says, my Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original person of God, who is transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature. And he says, like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the 3 world. Like the air, you can penetrate the inner internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all pervasive supersoul. Please therefore find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in the transcendence under the disciplinary regulation. If you really want to come out from the miseries or dissatisfaction, you also have to follow the example of Vyasdev. Although he was the literary incarnation of the Lord, but still he is surrendering to the spiritual master Naradmuni. The same thing we saw in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna was a friend of Krishna, but when he is despondent, he was morose, he was feeling weak-hearted. So he surrendered to Krishna. He said that, I'm feeling miser, kindly help me to take a decision, or tell me whatever is best for me. I'm surrendering into you as a disciple. So kindly tell me whatever is best for me. Same thing Vyasdev is doing here. So as we see Bhagavad Gita, it gives the principle, but Bhagavatam gives the example. So here is the example of principle with the example. So here we can see that how Vyasdev is doing the same thing in front of Narad Muni. So after hearing from Vyasdev, Narad Muni said to Vyasdev that what he said, that Sri, Narada Uvacha, he said, Bhavatanudipayam yeso bhagavato malam yene vasunati seta manita darshanam kilam. So this Narad Muni said, now he's telling the what is the main problem of Vyasdev. He said, so you have not actually broadcasted the sublime and spotless glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, although you have written, a whole Veda, compiled all Veda, then divided them in the four, then you wrote Purana, then you wrote Mahabharata, then you wrote Vedanta Sutra, but you have not exclusively and sufficiently described the glories of the personality of Godhead. Okay. And what is that? So that philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental sense of the Lord is considered worthless. So, okay, no, as we already saw in the second chapter, there it is mentioned that what is that? Srameva hi kevalam. No utpad ratim yadi srameva vahi kevalam. So whatever activity dharma stone tishtasi pumsam vispakshana kathasu no utpad ratim yadi srameva vahi kevalam. So you do whatever activity perfectly, varnasam dharma you follow perfectly, or the occupational duty, that is varnasam dharma, very nicely performed. But if Lord Hari is not pleased, then what is it? Srameva vahi kevalam. So that's why it is said in another verse that some siddhir Haritoshanam. The purpose of all activities is to please the Lord Hari. The same thing Narad Muni is explaining to Vyasdev. Okay, you have done, so many great literary works, so much broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That's your problem. Okay. And the glorification of the sublime and spotless personality of Godhead is what is the ultimate goal. Right? So that philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental sense of the Lord is considered worthless. So when you glorify the Supreme Lord, he will become happy. That's what we saw, right? Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagwan Iswar Hari. Shrotavyasya, Kirtitavyasya, Smartavyasya, Ichchito Abhayam. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagwan Iswar Hari. If you want to be free from all the miserable condition of material world, Ichchito Abhayam, then what you have to do? You have to glorify, hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, O King of Bharata. Sukadeva Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj in the second chapter and first chapter. And the same thing is mentioned in the first and the second chapter. The Shrota Vishya and that same verse is there. So that is the purpose. Glory, hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord. So if we glorify, hear about, and remember, Lord become pleased. So Vyasdev has done so many such a work, but he has not exclusively and sufficiently glorified Lord Hari. That was his problem. And the glorification of the Lord Hari, if you don't do, if we write so much things, there are so many big writers, J.K. Rowling, and so many are there, right? But that is not glorifying the Supreme Lord Hari. There are so many novels, so many, uh, what should I say, so many novels are there, so many histories are there, but that is not related to Supreme Lord. That is not glorifying the Supreme Lord. That kind of glorification, which is which does not contain the activities of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so they are so that does not please the Supreme Lord. So they are worthless. That is the purpose. Okay, the eternal relation of the individual soul with the Supreme Soul Person God is constitutionally one of the eternal servant and eternal master. Okay. So that is very important. So whatever we do, that should be done in relation to Supreme Lord Hari. So in the next verse, Narad Muni says, this is very important. This of upcoming three verses there. Yatha dharma dayas ka artha muni varyanu kirtita na tatha na tatha vasudevasya mahima hi anugarnita. So although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performance. You have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality Vasudeva. So Vyasdev has written everything in the Vedas, that is four Purusharthas, which are the four principles: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma means following the prescribed duties, Varnashram Dharma. Artha means economic development. Kama means sense gratification. And finally, there is Moksha, You have very sufficiently described about all those things. Okay. But that's what he's saying. But you have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality, Vasudeva. So from this, we understand if we really want to be free from all misery, if we really want to be satisfied, if we really want to be peaceful, then what is the solution? Glorify the Lord Hari, glorify the activities of Lord Krishna, glorify the Lord activities of expansion of Lord Krishna. And where are that? Those activities they are mentioned in Bhagavatam. So have Bhagavatam at your home, read them and narrate for others. पढ़ के जाओ कल किसी और को बताओ तो आज ही बताओ फोन करके बताओ कोई एक तो दोस्त मिल ही जाएंगे जो he or she might be ready to hear कृष्णा की स्टोरी बताओ सिंपल सॉल्यूशन बहुत आसान है ओके सो दैट इज द basically essence that lesson we can learn from this verse in the next verse Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva that न यद्वचश्चित्रपदं हरेर्यशो जगत् पवित्रं प्रगृणीता करचित् तदव तदवायसं तीर्थम् उष्णति मानसा न यत्र हंस निर्मन्ति उषितक्षयो. So he says that okay, you have wrote such a wonderful literature, but those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by the saintly person to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for the crows. You know the difference between crows and hamsa, right? Crows who like to eat meat, filthy things. The crows assemble where the filthy thing is lying. Just like in a sada hua maas, sada hua khana, crows come there. But hamsa, out of milk and water is mixed, so hamsa can differentiate what is the essence. So that's why the great devotees are considered as a hamsa, paramhamsa. So they can easily differentiate what is good and what is bad. So good and bad in terms of as per the Vedic Shastra, not for our mental speculation. As per the good means whatever activities we do in relation to Supreme Lord Hari, that is called good. And whatever other things we do except apart from serving the Lord, that is bad. So Hamsa can easily differentiate between what is good and bad. Okay. So, so those words which does not describe the glories of the Supreme Lord are considered by saintly person like a place of pilgrimage for the cross. Generally, we see those who are not devoted, they are so much inclined toward towards reading a mundane newspaper, so much gossip, इसने उसका रेप कर दिया, उसने इसका मर्डर कर दिया, उसने ये किया, वो किया, उसने उसका धन चुरा लिया. But if in the newspaper at least पहले हेडलाइंस में कहीं कृष्णा लिख दो, that will be more powerful. Once upon a time in Germany or somewhere, I could not remember. Please correct me if someone find out. So one day, in the newspaper, they have published, "Oh, Hare Krishna people are thief." So disciple of Srila Prabhupada immediately went to Srila Prabhupada and they told Prabhupada they have published in the newspaper that Hare Krishna people are thieves. To his surprise, Prabhupada was not at all morose, not at all feeling disturbed. He asked his disciple the question that he asked his disciple question, how many copies they circulate every day? Someone says 50,000. Then Srila Prabhupada said, oh, great, wonderful. I don't know Hare Krishna people are few, but I know one thing. Hare Krishna is transcendental sound vibration, and it is going to purify everyone. It is going to act with its potency. That much is the Hare Krishna powerful. So that is the vision of uh, who? Acharya. That's why Srila Prabhupada is called Jagat Guru. So these are Hamsa. Even one place, headline में एक जगह पे भी हरे कृष्णा लिख दे, people are going to be Krishna लिख दे, forget Hari, Vishnu लिख दे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. That is going to purify. Hare Krishna is so powerful. Sometimes he speaks Rajma, तो भगवान बीच में से जय निकाल के राम कर देते हैं, रामा. मेरा मकान बोलोगे तो मेरा में से मैं निकालते हैं, मकान में से कान निकालते हैं, मेरा मकान के बीच का स्पेस निकालते हैं और राम बना देते हैं. That is called भावग्राही जनार्दन. That is the effect of chant the name of the Lord and his activity. But the word which does not describe the glories of the Supreme Lord, they are worthless. They are like, pilgrimage for the cross. Only non-devotee atheists only like this kind of activities. Only karmis like this kind of activity. That's why Narad Muni is telling, oh, you have compiled a great Vedic literature which sufficiently describes, but it has not sufficiently described about the Supreme Lord Hari. Okay. And not exclusively described. That is your problem. So this kind of word which does not describe the Supreme Lord, they are like a place of pilgrimage for the cross. That is what is mentioned in this line. Okay. So he says, since the all perfect person are inhabitant of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. So many of you might have experienced that after coming to Krishna consciousness, you don't like to read newspaper, you don't like to intermingle with non-devotees, you don't like to go for cinema. Gradually, even if you go, you feel you will regret next day. अच्छा नहीं लगता है. So ऐसा होता है. So this is what it says. Since the all perfect person are inhabitant of transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Those kind of words. What is mentioned here? So those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord. So glories of the Lord is who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe. Just Krishna, Krishna लिखते जाओ. Once upon a Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was a guru of Srila Prabhupada. How he was approving the articles, if some articles need to be published in the magazine, how he was approving, he was running two magazines. I forgot the name of those magazines, but he was seeing how many times he has written Krishna in his article. So, जितना ज़्यादा बार कृष्ण लिखा होगा, so that is a high probability that that article will be published. So this is the this is the acharya. That's why we have to hear Bhagavatam in parampara. Okay. So in the next verse he says, this is a very famous verse. That but so whatever Sadavad Visargo Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abadda Abhyati Namani Anantasya Yaso Akitani Yat Srunvanti Gayanti Gunanti Sadava. So we have given the title, sorry, punchline of our course, bringing a revolution within the heart. So I have taken from here Janataga Viplava. Okay. So here it says that on the other hand, that literature which is full of description of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastime of the unlimited Supreme Lord is different creation, full of transcendental words directed towards the bringing about the revolution in the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. But I'm repeating this. On the other hand, that literature which is full of the description of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastime of the unlimited Supreme Lord is different creation. It's completely different compared to previous verse. Compare previous verse. It is talking about those words which do not describe the Lord Hari, and this verse describe about the words which describe the activities of the Lord Hari. So glories of the description of Lord Hari and glories of and problem of the words which do not describe the Lord Hari. So we discussed in the previous verse. In this verse, we are discussing what is the benefit of describing the Lord Hari. Even that description is faulty grammatically, with spelling mistake and so many other imperfection, but still they are powerful. That's why we say someone writes Rajma, but Krishna will take it as a Rama. Someone writes Mera Makan, but Krishna will take Rama. So Rama and Krishna in sentence, if they are coming, this Krishna ka andar three through sa ana Rama, this uh, syllables are coming in sequence in sentence. So बीच में से सारे word कृष्ण निकाल देते हैं, space word articles, and he makes Krishna and Ram. That is a glory. So the glories of this kind of words are explained. So what he says, that literature which is full of description of transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastime, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is different creation. So full of transcendental words directed towards the impious lives of the world's misdirected civilization. This word may be imperfectly composed. It is said in the next line. Such a transcendental literature, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by the purified men who are thoroughly honest. So if you see in the preface of the Bhagavatam, which is written by Srila Prabhupada, there he mentioned at the last in the preface, he says, I must admit my faculties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, but still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinker and leaders of the society on the strength of the following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. He is mentioning, okay, Prabhupada is saying, okay, I'm trying to translate this Bhagavatam. Sanskrit cannot exactly represented in English. So it may be faulty grammatically, there may be spelling mistake, there may be so many other problems, but he says it will be accepted by the thinkers and leaders of the society on the strength of this verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tadavada Visargo Janataga Viplava. This verse, that's what we are discussing. It's very, very important verse. Please memorize this thing. Okay. This is the power of describing the Lord Hari. Okay. So we'll stop here. So rest of the verse we'll discuss on Monday. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If any question, comment, feedback, please unmute and you can ask question.